Kelly Clarkson had it wrong.
No, Kelly Clarkson!
It's not what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's what makes you different that makes you stronger on Airbnb. Right now, I'm gonna dive onto Airbnb and show you a few different listings that are getting way more views and are getting way more money than the competition and are getting booked out before anything else. And we're gonna try to find some patterns of why those listings are making more and getting more bookings right now. In a second here, I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna look at a few properties on Airbnb and figure out why some listings are getting more views, getting more bookings, getting way more money, and really getting booked out first over any other properties in their area.
All right, guys, so when we talk about getting booked first, there's a good reason for getting booked first, and there's also a bad reason for getting booked first. So we wanna capture the good types of bookers that are booking first. And what are they looking for? They're looking for the best place, and they're going to book far out in advance because they want the best. They don't want to settle. They don't want to wait to the last minute. And for that reason, they're probably going to want to book at a premium price. They don't care about price because they just want the best. Then the other side of it is the early bird bookers, which they're just booking because they want to find that early bird discount. So what we don't want is those types of bookers. So I had to find a really good balance here in order to figure out what was that type of booker that was going to get attracted by the best and not just that early bird discount. So let's go ahead and take a look at my screen. I just want to give a shout out to Travel and Leisure's Stacy Liska. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but you helped me to really streamline this research. She has a few different properties all over the United States that are getting booked first and the most popular in their areas. So in order to find the best places, I did a few different things. I've got it down to about 3 or 4 houses. The first 2, the Tangle Bloom Tiny Cabin and the Canopy Treehouse, to me were the best representations of this. And then we got the Storybrooke Castle and the Willow Treehouse, which are, they're close. They're not quite exactly the perfect model for this, but these first 2 are. So the first thing I'm looking at is the calendar at least booked for 90% for the next 60 days? So the Tangle Bloom, as you see, from March to April is completely booked. Now, how do I know that's not just blocked? Well, because starting in May, you start to see these, kind of like just little gaps of vacancy throughout the rest of July and August. And so again, we're trying to get booked first before anyone else. And as you can see, I mean, we've got bookings all the way into September, October. Probably October is when they stop promoting their listing. They probably have it on a 6-month limitation for when you can book. The Canopy Treehouse, again, very similar. We've got most of March booked, all of April booked, and then May it starts to get a little bit sparse. June, July, yeah, looks like, July, August, they're all booked. So this one is incredibly popular. And then the other part of it is reviews in the last month. So I'm looking down at this and I'm seeing, does it have at least reviews from the last month? We got February, Tangle Bloom here. We've also got, so not as recent, and that also might be the fact of maybe the next 2 months is not completely booked. Maybe it is just down for renovations or something right now. But as you can see, starting in May, there's bookings all over the place. So it wasn't, once again, not everything is going to be ideal, but you can see it's very active, especially in the month of October. And let's just look over at Storybrooke. I think this one was mostly updated. Yeah, February 2022. And then Willow Treehouse. Let's go back, get out of the pictures here. And that was also February 2022. So really the only one that's not fully updated in terms of the what's it called? The reviews is in October. So, but again, I like the calendar. I like it's probably just either down for renovations. Maybe they're not hosting for a little bit, but as you can see, over 135 reviews. And that's the biggest thing, is that we're looking at reviews as well. So 135, this one has 262. This one has 218, and the Willow Treehouse has 519, tons of reviews. I also did not allow for Airbnb Plus. If you're not familiar with Airbnb Plus, those are ones that are typically taken by Airbnb, moved to the top, and Airbnb favors them because Airbnb essentially has a relationship with that owner, and they're making a little bit more money to help bump it up. So I didn't want to do that. That felt like a cheat code. And then not cheap. I didn't want really anything under 200. That's why I'm a little bit like the Storybrooke Castle. It's amazing, but it doesn't have the pricing that I wanted. But if we do look into the future, we can see. Let's see if it even goes up a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't go up a whole lot. And here's the thing about the Storybrooke Castle is that it's incredible, but I think they are losing tons of money. I think they could be making so much more money on this and still probably get booked out as one of the first, especially because at this point they have 218 reviews. So Pagan, I would really increase the rates here, but same time, not my business, and I really think though that you're doing a lot of great things right here and you're probably making amazing money. So with that being said, those were the 4 qualifications I had when I was looking at these. And again, not everything's perfect, right? But we try to do our best. I wanted at least 3 of the 4 qualifications, basically. So let's look at the commonalities of all of these. So first of all, the number one thing that sticks out to me is that they're all small properties, which is interesting, right? Because if you know, a lot of the time we're talking about like, hey, you're going to make more money with the bigger properties. But again, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about how to get yourself booked as the first property in your entire market. And so these smaller properties seem to be the ones that book out further in advance. So these 1-bedroom properties, 2-bedroom, small 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, they're booking out further in advance because it looks like they're attracting couples and couples are planning their getaway. So the other thing about that is that they're secluded. This one's in the cabin or in the woods. This one's in the woods. This one is like it looks like an enchanted forest, like in the middle of what looks like nowhere. This one is like literally hanging over a lake with no neighbors. Pretty awesome to see these things. So romantic, secluded, small. It's got an experience too. Like this is once in a lifetime kind of stuff, right? So if I'm having my experience at the Tangle Bloom tiny cabin with Melissa, like I'm saying to Melissa, this is like a once in a lifetime thing, or this is one of those properties that I'm going to brag about to my friends of like, hey, look at where I'm taking my wife, or look at where I'm taking my significant other, and check out what we're going to have. So like, this is one of those things. It's a little bit of like a puff your chest out, check out where we're staying, once in a lifetime type of experience. And I think the last thing is it's scenic. Every single one of these are scenic. So romantic, secluded, experience, scenic, small. These are the ones that are getting booked out first. But here's the deal. A lot of you are watching this right now and you're like, I don't have this kind of place. I don't have the romantic, small getaway. I've got the typical 3-bedroom, 2-bath. All right. So what are some commonalities that we can find here that are going to show us like, hey, we could probably do that or do something like that or do a majority of these things to get our place to be one of the first booked. So first of all, 3 of these 4 are professional photos. Maybe not this one. This one looks, it could be. It's kind of, no, these are definitely photos on a cell phone, which again, like that's what I look at this and I say, man, the potential of this one could go through the roof if they just did a few things a little bit better. Both the Willow Tree House and the Storybrooke Castle. I'm just like, oh, you're so close. So these are my 2 models that I say are the best. We got the professional photos of Tangle Bloom and the Canopy Treehouse. The experience too. One thing I love, I think it's the Canopy. Let's see. One of these has, I think 2 of them actually have the experience photo. And what I mean by that is people are actually in their photos. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So it shows the experience. We've got people in this like sauna, hot tub, whatever this is kind of thing. And you can now feel the experience because you see other people have taken photos in this and shared it on the listing. And that gives that kind of feel. Like if you have a house that just has, let's call it a sleep number bed, like showing someone sleeping in that, of course it could be you, it could be whoever has to agree to it, but having them sleep in that sleep number bed with it propped up, or maybe it's that hot tub with a couple or like a group of people, or maybe it's the pool with like the volleyball net, like having people in it and photos being taken that shows the experience. Another way is a seasonal photo. So I think it was the Canopy Treehouse did this one. It was a photo of both seasons. So I love this because we can see the snow on the ground. We can see that it is the winter here, which is one experience, snow on the ground here. And then the other one is it's the summer, or it's the spring or the fall where the snow is melted. And we can see two different types of experiences there. So we know what we're gonna feel or see based on when we're booking. Another part of the actual listings themselves is, if you notice, every single person on here, what do they have in common? What does each host have in common? Well, they have this little badge right there. They're all super hosts. So this is why it's so important to get to super host, because and you don't have to have a beautiful willow treehouse in order for it to be a super host. But all of them as well, it took a little bit of some time, and this is going to take you time as well. But if you notice, we've got over 100 reviews on each one of these, as much as 519 on this one. Along with it, from Superhost to 100 plus reviews, you've also got 4.98, you got 4.93, you've got 4.98 again. All of these listings are at a 4.9 or above. So it takes the guesswork out of it for me. Like, beautiful place, but oh no, it only has a 4.6 reviews and not a super host. Do we take it? Do we take the chance? No, like, there's no chance that you're taking. And for that reason, they're able to price these out really high, especially Tangle Bloom and the Canopy Treehouse. Another thing that I liked was the accolades. So a lot of these have accolades in them. This one has Alabama's most popular Airbnb destination in a castle. It was in the newspaper, sharing that. I believe this one had it as well. Let's see if we can find it. Or maybe it was Tangle Bloom. As seen in Travel Plus Leisure, right here. As seen in Travel Plus Leisure, House Beautiful Yankee. It's showing that they were, again, in Huffington Post and Cosmopolitan and Men's and Journal. To be able to share those accolades, that's pretty big, right? But there was also just something as simple, right here, Vermont's most wish-listed Airbnb in 2020. There's also some things like, if, where did I see it? I can't remember which listing we were on, but one of the listings even just had something as simple as design inspired by. And even just putting something like that, even if it's just your neighbor who is an interior designer, right? And they don't have a name, and maybe they have a little bit of an Instagram following, but even just putting something like that, and design inspired by, it's almost like, oh, I don't know that name, but they must be a big deal. This sounds interesting. So that it's that light bulb that goes off in people's minds of like, okay, don't know that name, but maybe that's cool, and it's a little bit of an accolade. And then to me as well, a hot tub and the title. Like, a hot tub is not a ton of money if you find it on a great, if you find a used one, if you find one on like Black Friday. My wife and I, we got ours for $4,000. It's not a lot of money, and it could add $20, $30, $40 per night to your nightly rate, maybe even more if you're in a bigger place. And, all of these are named something unique. It's the Tangle Bloom Tiny Cabin. It's the Canopy Treehouse. It's the Book Castle. It's the Willow Treehouse. All of these have some sort of name to it. It's not just, nice location, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. They're all unique. So with all that being said, I did point out one more listing that doesn't have all of these incredible accolades and uniqueness to it, but they did a really nice job of doing this is, by the way, in Kissimmee, Florida. This person is fairly new. They've got Superhost, but they only have 18 reviews, 4.9 star rating on this again. And here's the things that they followed. Just all the things that we just mentioned here that we weren't able, we don't have the secluded, the Airbnb like plus. We don't have the romantic experience. It's not scenic. This is a 4-bedroom, actually 5-bedroom house. That's just really nicely done. And so if you look at the photos, they're just, they're professional photos, right? They've got some color to it. They added some color, and it's not even necessarily the nicest color. I don't know that I would choose these colors, but it just mixes things up. It pops a little bit. It's got a pool. It has, Superhost status. It has the pool, maybe not the hot tub. It's got the, It's got all the things that these last ones had that we can't take the uniqueness of it and bring it over to this one, but we can take some of the same ideas, and especially with an experience, right? Looking at this, being next to Orlando, Florida, we got Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Like, that probably is going to attract some couples. It's got some more of the Disney stuff going on with Lilo and Stitch. It's got some of this stuff that it's like, okay, I can put a little bit of an experience into it. And for that reason, let's check out their calendar. Like, they're booked solid all the way to April, and then they're getting booked out weekends in May, booked out a ton in June and July. This is one of the first properties that's getting booked out ahead of time. And once again, it's not going to be cheap. Like, you know, we're looking at $219 per night. I think they could probably get even more on this as well. But this is the stuff that you can be doing even if you don't have an amazing property that's in a scenic route, that's romantic, that's small. If you just have the basic home, these are some of the things that you could be doing.